Alright, it's the final match. We are on the draw, and our hand is pretty good. And our opponent mulliganed, so I'm feeling pretty good about this match. They put a card on bottom. And Dismal Backwater. Some sort of blue-black control variant. There's an argument for playing Bone Splitter turn 1, so I have something to pick up turn 2 with Skyfisher, but I don't really care so much about that. I'd rather try to resolve the Wellspring first. Okay. It is time to start running creature spells into my opponent and hoping they don't counter them. Alright. Moment of truth. Can we make even a single creature stick? If this resolves and I get to cycle the Wellspring, then it's going to be pretty sweet. If not, that leaves us with basically nothing to do until we draw another creature spell. And does our opponent have Mystical Teachings for end of turn? No, they Doomblade our creature. Think twice. Alright. Well, we could sacrifice this Wellspring to draw a card, but we have nothing to get rid of right now. I could target the Wellspring itself if I really needed to crack it, but I'd rather wait. Alright, opponent's going to play a Muldrifter. We'll get that out of the way, I suppose. This time I think I'm going to use a Purge to get rid of the creature, just so I can get this Wellspring cracked. Actually, I take that back. I drew a Rebirth, which is going to get countered, sadly enough. Alright. Here's that. I'm going to let the Seagate Oracle stick around. It doesn't really hurt us unless we draw more Rebirths and need to clear the ground of blockers. So this is some weird blue-black control list that is not all in creature lists. It actually is running creatures. It might not have a Mystical Teachings package or something. It's running Think Twice over Accumulated Knowledge, which makes it more resilient to a Bojuka Bog. And we draw a third Purge. Not ideal. There are 7 cards in hand. comfortable 26th life. Yeah, this is one of those games that is unfortunately very close to already over. I actually don't really want to pick up this Bone Splitter because I don't want the chance that our opponent will counter spell it somehow. Maybe they have a negate or something. Agony Warp kills our Kuldotha. And Chainer's Edict. Well, Chainer's Edict seals the deal. We're still bringing in Bojuka Bog against them, even though they don't have accumulated knowledge. Alrighty, last chance for something good to happen. Oh, they are playing Mystical Teachings. So I think that's pretty much a good game for us. They have Mystical Teachings online where they can flash it back and cast whatever they want. They have a full hand. We've already used up a lot of our threats. Their life total is very comfortably out of reach. I don't think we can win this game in any reasonable way. Let's see what they will get with this Mystical Teachings, though. Deprive, okay. And they have another one. For another Teachings, yep. I think we can go ahead and say the writing is on the wall at this point, and a Prohibit. Alright, so we definitely want Pyroblast and Bojuka Bog. And what should we get rid of? Probably all of these. Our expensive removal we don't really need. We can just use our burn spells to get rid of their creatures if we need to. And what else? Suppose we can cut back on a land since we're bringing in 2 Bojuka Bog. So how about a Secluded Step? Should be fine. And we'll hope that we have a quick enough start to overcome them. Alright, I like the look of this. Turn 1 Inspector. Turn 2 Wellspring. Turn 3 Rebirth. I can also make sure that these resolve by doing Rebirth, sacrificing Clue, and Kuldotha, returning the land to our hand right now, but I think that's a little bit too aggressive. I'd rather keep the Clue and our land around. And here, I think I'm just going to go for it. If they have the Prohibit, it's really awkward, but I'm going to go ahead and give them a chance to counter this if they want to. Think twice, okay. 3 of an Inspector, since I don't want to pick up a land here. And then I'll Bojuka Bog away to think twice. Remembering that I can pick up this Bojuka Bog later with the Core Skyfisher if I want to. Alright, we have to bash them for 1 billion. And now the only thing we need to really be scared of is Evincar's Justice. So how am I going to not play into that? I think I'll play Core Skyfisher. pick up Pajuka Bog and plan on cracking a clue. I could also bring back a Thraben Inspector if I really wanted to, just as additional protection against the Evincar's Justice. Have that off the battlefield and back in my hand, but I'd rather be aggressive. Doomblade, okay. They have a Radiant Fountain they can replay. I don't really have enough white mana for all these Glinthawks, unfortunately. Alright, no Evincar's Justice one time. Muldrifter. I'm actually fine with that. They're going to discard a hand size, so we see what their worst card is here. Soul Manipulation. Okay. And I actually think our opponent is dead on board, because we have Metalcraft, right? 1, 2, 3. We attack. We deal 5, and then we deal the last 8 with Galvanic Blasts. And our opponent dies, which I think is pretty good. Let's see. Wonderful. Okay, game 3. Alright, we are unfortunately on the draw and have 0 lands. This is a pretty horrible hand. 0 creatures. A Bone Splitter that doesn't really do anything without creatures. Even if we draw like Kuldotha Rebirth, we're going to have to sacrifice a land to get it on the table. Yuck. This is not the type of hand I want to keep. Is it better than the average 5? I think I have to go down to 5 for a more explosive hand than this if I want to have a chance at beating them. Alright, I'll keep this, I guess. Puts Galvanic Blast on the bottom. Glinthawk, okay. I might regret doing this, but I really just want to find a rebirth at this point, so I'm going to cycle that away. Alright, no counterspell, please. One time. Oh, well. I guess I could have also tried to resolve Core Skyfisher that turn and not played a tap land. That might have been a mistake. Oh well. It looks like I'm going to get a chance to resolve it this turn. Doomblade kills our creature. Pristine Talisman getting 1 a turn is annoying, but it's not too bad. Time for us to draw our rebirth, like right now. Perfect. That's made a lot better by the presence of Bone Splitter. And we get to resolve our Inspector. Yeah, this is great. I'm actually going to hold off on the other Inspector to make sure this Galvanic Blast resolves, since it does such a good job of blocking our creatures. Except for whichever one I put the Bone Splitter on. Alright, Muldrifter number 2. And I'm going to attempt to bolt that out of our way. Take 6. And we still haven't seen Evincar's Justice from them, so they might not have it main deck or sideboard. That's what the hope is. They have 7 cards in hand though, so another Talisman, so they're gaining 2 life a turn from that. Seagate Oracle is a pretty good blocker for these goblins. Picks up a Radiant Fountain to gain more life. You get to crack a clue. A blast. Okay. Alright, there's a bolt that's a little bit more reasonable. I don't really want to waste that on a creature, but I think it's worth it. We're attacking for 7 a turn, but the Pristine Talisman's gaining 2, make that effectively 5 a turn. Not really scared of Chainer's Edict. A little bit annoyed by more Muldrifters since it keeps their hand full, and we need to really remove them to have good attacks. I would not mind drawing another Bone Splitter here, I don't think. Alright, and our opponent does have Evincar's Justice, and the mana and the life to buy it back. So I think that's a good game. It's been nice knowing you, but there's no real coming back from that. We don't have a way to counter the Evincar's Justice, which means we have to somehow win the game with only burn in the face of them gaining 2 a turn off the Talismans, or with, I guess, only my core Skyfisher, which have 3 toughness. So, yeah. Good game. It's been fun. I like the deck. But, it does not really have what it needs against blue-black control, apparently. If they have no more counter spells and no more kill spells and just have lands in their hand besides the Evincar's Justice, then I probably would still lose. They go find themselves a Prohibit to counter the Power Blast, and that is good games for us. Alright, 2-3 overall, not a horrible fate. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out the article, and I will see you next time.